Hey, it is 12 noon on Wednesday, which means it's time for this week's episode of Ask the Instructor. My name is John Chrisman. The show is brought to you by the Tampa School of Real Estate. We're here every Wednesday, 12 noon Eastern Time, to help you understand the technical side of the real estate industry, to be able to learn something that can help better your life, to help you make more money, to help you close business faster. And there's one word, and when you start talking about success, success has its own language. If you get around successful people enough, you'll start to notice the way it is that they talk. And the reason why they talk differently is because they might think differently. And this is the whole thing, the chicken or the egg. Okay, is it the thinking or is it the talking? Is it the talking or is it the thinking? What comes first? And they really feed into each other. Start it whatever way you can, whether you're thinking positively or speaking positively or speaking the words of success or you're thinking the word success. Start one and then add in the other, because this is a cycle that feeds into each other. And there's one word that's really important if you want to be able to achieve success quickly, and that's leverage. So you don't need leverage to become successful, and you might be successful without leverage, but with leverage you could speed up this process. With leverage you could do it on a bigger scale. With leverage, you could multiply your efforts. So it really unlocks a greater potential, a greater capacity that you could achieve. But it all starts with just wrapping your head around leverage and what is leverage and why would it benefit your business. And then you could start looking at the ways to use leverage to grow your business. So that's what we're talking about today on this week's episode of Ask the Instructor. We're going to talk about leverage, not just financial leverage, but every way that you could leverage yourself, leverage others, leverage money, leverage time to grow your real estate business. So I'm really excited to bring today's episode to you. I'm John Chrismo. You're watching Ask the Instructor.
You are watching Ask the Instructor. Absorb the knowledge. Become the expert.
Hey, welcome back to this week's episode of Ask the Instructor. My name is John Chrismo. The show is brought to you by the Tampa School of Real Estate. Every Wednesday, we're here talking about the technical side of the real estate industry. And there's, again, we're talking about this language of success, the words that successful people use. And I'm not just talking about positive thinking and positive speaking, but understanding these words that are probably not part of your everyday vocabulary. I doubt you're learning that word leverage in any sort of public education system. If you are, great job on whoever's teaching you that term leverage, or wherever it is that you're learning about leverage, because this is a piece of the puzzle that a lot of people don't appreciate or look at as value as much as other things, but leverage is a very powerful tool. So what is leverage? Leverage is that, if we look at the definition that you'd probably find when you search for leverage. Matter of fact, we'll pull up the exact definition of what comes up when you search for leverage. But my definition of leverage, so here we go. Leverage is the exertion of force by means of a lever or an object used in the manner of a lever. So you might think maybe you did learn about leverage, but maybe you learned about it in physics class, when really you probably should have learned about it from the economic standpoint here. There is a financial definition of this on here, which we're kind of using this term the same way, but my point being here is you might not understand the full meaning of these words. And we're going to tie all these together here. The financial definition we've got here is the ratio of a company's loan capital or debt to the value of its common stock equity. And okay, cool, yeah, if you're like a broker on Wall Street trying to sell stock, then yeah, those words probably make sense to you and you probably get it. But if you're an entrepreneur trying to grow a successful business, and I just say entrepreneur because I don't mean specifically a real estate professional, anybody that is in the entrepreneurial type of field, business, or whatever it may be, can benefit from leverage. Now, let's go back to that physics definition here about using a lever. So, let's say you've got like 1,000 pounds to pick up. Then you've got this crate here that's 1,000 pounds. Now, you might look at this crate that's 1,000 pounds and say, there's no way I could lift this. But that's where leverage comes in. Leverage says you use a lever, and I think the term, it's been a while since I've done any physics stuff. I think this is called a fulcrum. I might be wrong with that, but we'll just call it the triangle if it's not the fulcrum. But basically, using this lever, there's some saying from some sort of philosophy about being able to move the world. And the reason why is this lever allows you to do that. This lever allows you to use what you have. You use your strength to be able to lift that 1,000 pounds, whereas if you went directly at that 1,000 pounds, if you came over here and tried to pick that up, you wouldn't be able to do that. So let's translate this a little bit to the financial side. That's what leverage means physically. What using a lever can do. It could help you lift something that you probably wouldn't be able to lift otherwise because of physics. But you could do the same thing from the financial standpoint as well. And when we're talking about financial leverage, we're usually talking about borrowing money. Now, in order to borrow money, well, how do you go about borrowing money? If you go to a bank, what is a bank going to ask you for if you're going to borrow money? If we're going through just the most traditional sense of this, we'll talk about maybe some other ways you can get access to some money here. But let's say you go to a bank, they're going to look at your credit score. So now, you're maybe trying to purchase something. You're maybe trying to buy a house for $100,000. Maybe you find a property with some investment potential. It's $100,000. Now, you might not have $100,000 to go invest in and purchase this property. But you could use leverage. Here comes the bank as the fulcrum. Here comes the bank that allows you to use your credit to leverage your credit. You're not leveraging your money because you don't have the money. You're leveraging your credit. That's what you have that you could use to get a loan to be able to purchase that home. Now, it doesn't have to be for purchasing a home. You know, maybe this isn't a $100,000 investment. Maybe you're thinking of starting a real estate career. Maybe you're starting a real estate career, and let's say that we'll just call it $1,000 for whatever you need $1,000 for, starting doing something, making some investment somewhere. That you've got this $1,000 price tag for whatever it is that you're looking to invest in, but maybe you don't have the money to be able to afford that $1,000. You don't have the cash on hand. And that again goes back, it's just at a much smaller scale than we're doing when we're buying an entire house, is you could leverage your credit to get money to be able to spend this $1,000. Now, why would you spend $1,000? Why would you invest in the $100,000 house? Well, you'd invest in that $100,000 house because you maybe plan on making some sort of profit, that you're able to maybe do some work on it or whatever, that you sell it for $150 and you make some sort of profit in between here. So you're leveraging your credit to be able to buy the investment that you could turn around and turn into more money. Just like maybe you're investing $1,000 in starting your real estate career. The reason why you would spend that $1,000 for starting a real estate career, it's not for fun. It's not to go take a class. It's not to go think about real estate. It's because you're committing to making this work. And if you do make this work, that $1,000 could turn into a whole lot more than that. Maybe $100,000, maybe $1 million. It depends on, what time frame we're talking about. It talks about, are we talking about, over your career? Because if you've got a 20-year career, you might be talking tens of millions of dollars that you're able to generate over the course of that career, maybe even more. There's no limit on how much money you can make in real estate. But that's the whole leveraging money thing. Or leveraging not really the money, because that's what you're getting to finance the purchase of whatever asset, whether that be a physical, tangible asset you could touch or a more intangible asset like training, like knowledge, like education. Those are more intangible things. And again, the number one rule of investing is don't lose money. So when you start, even if it's only $1,000, even if it's only $100 you've invested, If you give up on that $100, you've broken rule number 1, you've lost $100. Whereas if you invest the 100, the 1,000, the 100,000, the $1 million, whatever investment it is that you're making, if you invest the money, you're committing to not losing it. To the only way I'm going to let go of this whatever it is that you've purchased is by recouping my money and then some. And that's the commitment that you're making to yourself when you make some sort of investment, whether that's an investment in property or that's an investment in yourself or whatever the case may be. Now, if we look at return on investment, for potential for return on investment, there's nothing that has a greater return on investment potential than yourself. And I don't say that to sound cheesy or sound cliche or anything like that, but it's something I believe in and I remember every single day. That the greatest investment you can make is an investment in yourself. That's where you're going to have the largest potential, the maximum return on your investment. But you've got to be intentional about being able to do that. And it's not just about the money. So you could leverage, if we talk about the things you could leverage your credit. And you would leverage your credit to get money. Now, what if you don't have great credit? What else can you leverage? Well, what do you have that you could leverage? The credit, you might be able to leverage that if you have credit, but if you don't have credit or your credit's bad, then you're going to have a hard time leveraging the credit because you don't have much of it or any of it. But what else could you maybe do to get that same thing, to maybe also get money? And you say, okay, well, if I want to get money and I can't get it from a traditional bank or whatever because I don't have credit, what else can I leverage? You might have things it is that you could sell. So maybe you have certain assets you could leverage, or maybe you have a relationship or some sort of reputation. Maybe this is a family member, maybe this is your spouse, maybe this is a friend of yours, maybe this is somebody that believes in you, somebody that you have a reputation with, and your reputation is that you'll be able to get them their money back and then some. If you've got that level of reputation, you don't need credit. If you've got that reputation and you've got people that you can leverage, where now you don't have to go to a bank, but maybe you've got a rich uncle or a rich friend or a doctor friend or a lawyer friend or somebody that's got money when you don't have money. You could maybe use that instead of using credit. But another thing that you could leverage, and this is what you could leverage when you're starting out, is your time. And you could leverage the time also to produce money. This is where most people live. This is where most people understand of leveraging their time for money. That's you go get a job somewhere and you get paid per hour for what it is that you're doing. You're leveraging your time to generate money. So there are ways for you to generate money, and especially in 2019, to leverage your time. You go out there, go sign up for Uber or Lyft or one of these little rideshare things, and you could leverage your time to generate money. Maybe establish some relationships and you could leverage that for money. Start to build your credit, you could leverage that for money. But what you start to learn as you start to gather more money, especially if you've been leveraging your time. So if you have a job where you're paid on some sort of basis of time, which is how most people are paid, unless you maybe own some sort of business already, but even if you own a business, you might still be leveraging your time for money. If this is maybe some sort of service-based business where in order for you to make money, you need to input time, you're leveraging time for money. But then what happens when you run out of time and you can no longer leverage this time to get money? Well, now you could leverage your money to gain you time. Now, when you're starting in real estate, you're usually going to be starting here, where you want to get the money, so you're going to use your time to get the money. You're going to leverage your time to get money. But then as you start to make money, that's where you take your money to buy back some of your time. Now, how do you also go about doing this? Because this is a dramatic shift going from basically being an employee of yourself. If you're a single person business person, you're an employee of yourself. Because if you've got to input time to generate money, and you're the only part of this process, you're an employee of yourself still. So even though you own your own business, you're your own employee, which that severely limits how much it is you're able to produce. Whereas when you start to leverage money, maybe the time thing is you're going out and meeting people face to face. That doesn't cost you any money. That just costs you time to meet people face to face. However you might go about doing that. Maybe you're holding open houses. Maybe you're going door knocking. Maybe you're going to community events. Maybe you're wherever people are and you're leveraging your time to potentially get a deal to generate money. But then again, you start to run out of time. So then you're maybe leveraging your money to buy back your time. And also not just time, but also gain business. To get business, to get leads. Because now maybe you're spending money on advertising. Maybe you're sending postcards. Maybe you're buying ads on Zillow or Realtor.com or doing Facebook retargeting or running Google ads or YouTube ads or however it is that you could use your money to where you no longer have to use your time to be able to generate business. But then what happens is you start to bring in more clients. And these clients all want to buy houses or all want to sell houses. And it's getting to the point, again, where you're running out of time to where you can't take care out of all these clients. There are not enough hours in a day. So what else can we leverage to get more hours in the day? How do we leverage to get more time? You could leverage also people. You could start to build a team. Because you might only have 168 hours in a week. And until you invent some sort of time machine or somebody invents a time machine and you're able to have time stand still or go back in time or anything like that, you're not going to get more than 168 hours a week. That is the most you're going to get. And you're probably going to have to sleep during a good at least quarter, if not 1/3 of those hours. And maybe you're trying to trim back on your sleep, but then maybe that affects your performance when you're not sleeping because you didn't get enough sleep. So again, at the most, if you maximize this 100% in real estate, when you're doing appraisal, there's a system called the income capitalization approach that talks about different levels of income. And there's something we call potential gross income. Potential gross income is if we have a unit, a house, an apartment, whatever it may be that we're renting. And if we rented it 100% of the time and they pay the rent 100% of the time, this is the most money we could get out of that property. That's potential gross income. So you only have so much potential time. Even if you cut out sleep entirely, which you're obviously not going to do, it's still only 168 hours and you're not going to get a second more than that in a single week. But what you could do, you could only have 168 hours, but if you can align other people with achieving the same common goal you're trying to achieve, you add one person, you've got another 168 hours a week. You add a third person, you've got another 168 hours a week. You add 10 people, you have 10 times the amount of time than you would have on your own. Now, as you start to grow your business further and you're leveraging people, in order to leverage people, you're really leveraging your money to get the people. Or, maybe this is a situation in real estate. It's great because it's pretty much all commission based. And you could maybe potentially pay some sort of salary or hourly wage or something, depending on the role, depending on how they're being compensated, if they're licensed and so on and so forth. So maybe then you do pay them some sort of hourly wage or salary. But if they're licensed, you don't necessarily need to pay them anything up front. You might have a person that you make an agreement with where they're paid on a strictly commission-based system. So you're not even leveraging money to get the people. You're leveraging your reputation of your business. Now it's not just of yourself. You're starting to get bigger than yourself. It's not just you doing this. It's not just you and your time. It's other people, their time, their resources, their creativity, their processes, their systems, which might still be your processes and your systems, but they're carrying it out so you don't have to do that, and you're able to achieve that grander vision even farther than you ever thought possible before, because you're no longer taking a walk. If you're a leader but you don't have anybody to lead, you're not leading, you're out taking a walk. Whereas when you've got people behind you, it's like you're leading the Macy's Day Parade, where you're leading this parade of people on this journey, on this quest to accomplish this common goal. And leverage is what's going to get you there. Leverage is taking something you have and using that to get more. That's what leverage is. It's taking what you already have. Leverage allows you to get more and to get more faster. Maybe again you want to get time. Maybe that's another thing that you want. Well, there's something that's going to save you time, that's going to make you close deals quicker, and I'm a firm believer in this, is training. There's so many people with a real estate license, there's so many real estate transactions that have already been done before. You're not reinventing the wheel. You're not coming up with anything brand new. We're helping people buy a house, and this is a complicated process, but it's a process that's repeatable. It's a process that's scalable. It's a process that you shouldn't have to figure out on your own. And having the right training of what to do, of how to market, of how to attract business, of how to take care of your clients, of how to handle them, about how to grow your business, that will take time out of the equation. Can you still figure it out without training? Yes. You could do this without training, but you're not going to get any additional time. You're not going to speed up this process because now you're figuring it out on your own, which basically relies on you failing a couple times to figure out what actually works. And even if you've got a great idea, something that you know will work, it might not work. Trust me on that one. You might think it's a great idea and then it might flop. People might not like it. So there's a time and place for experimentation. But when you could leverage the time that you have, when you could leverage the money that you have, when you could leverage the other people that are helping you achieve this common goal, when you could leverage these other parts of your business, then you have time to experiment, to try out new things. But first, use the training to take time out of the equation so that way the time you're using is going to get you money as quickly as possible. That's the power of leverage, using something you have to gain something that you don't. So we're going to take a quick commercial break, but when we come back, we're going to talk more about leverage, some specific things that you could implement at whatever stage it is that you're at in your real estate career. So stick with us. I'm John Christmer. You're watching Ask the Instructor. Have you completed your post-licensing education yet? Look, I know you're probably thinking, hey, it's not my renewal deadline. I don't need to do post-licensing yet. But look, here's why you want to do post-licensing as soon as you've got your real estate license, as soon as you're able to take post-licensing. It's not just another course about arbitrary laws that you're never going to use again. It's about real-world, usable topics that'll help you grow your real estate business, to help you take it to the next level. Look, let me ask you this one question. If this course helps you close just one deal, if you get one extra deal from post-licensing, is it worth the investment? I'd say it is. We get paid pretty well, so one deal means a lot of money. Check out postflorida.com. That's postflorida.com for the full details about post-licensing. And welcome back to this week's episode of Ask the Instructor, where we're talking about one of the most powerful words in the language of success, and that's leverage. Leverage is using something that you have to gain something that you don't. You might not have money, but do you have credit? Maybe you don't have credit and you still want money. Maybe you've got a relationship or a reputation where you might be able to get somebody to loan you money. Maybe that's a parent, maybe that's a sibling, maybe that's a friend, maybe that's some more distant family member, whoever it might be. And even going back to like just bigger banks, they're maybe not just looking at credit, they're also looking at your relationship. That's a part of the credit inquiry process. If you have a relationship with a bank, you're more likely to get more money versus going to a brand new bank with the same credit score because you might have a reputation or relationship that will maybe unlock more money. So maybe that's something you could leverage. Now, if you're still looking to get money, but you don't have either of these two things, you don't have a relationship or reputation anywhere where you could get you money, you don't have any credit to get you money, you go back to the good old-fashioned trading time for money, leveraging your time that you have. And depending at where you're at in your business, you might value one of these or the other. Now, if you're valuing this, if you're valuing money, It's going to cost you time. In most cases, in the way most people make money. But once you start to generate money, you realize, hey, turns out there's an infinite supply of money out there. And once you learn how to get this money, it's really not that hard. It's not as difficult as people make it out to be. Now, will it be difficult in the process? Yes, there'll be a learning curve, which again, taking time out, we could leverage training. Taking the post-licensing course as soon as possible, getting with a brokerage that has good training programs, so that way you make money quicker. So you leverage training to gain you time. And now the time that you have to generate money can be used more effectively. But again, you start to get more money, and now you're leveraging your money to buy you back time. You're leveraging your money to get you new business. You're leveraging your money to get you new leads. But then it gets to the point where there's only so much you can handle, and that's where you've got to, again, get even more time back. So you're leveraging people. You're maybe building a real estate team of licensed agents. They could be buyer's agents. They could be seller's agents. They could be somebody that manages the contract to closing, somebody that follows up with past clients. Of all these different parts of your business that take time to perform, you could leverage other people. But in order for you to leverage other people, there's got to be the money. And maybe that's money that's paid up front. Maybe that's money that's paid on the back end. It depends on whether they're licensed or unlicensed. It depends on what it is that they're going to be doing. It depends on what their role is in this grand scheme of things. But you could leverage everything that's on this. And it's really taking inventory of what you have. Maybe you have a system that works. Maybe that is what allows you to leverage people. That you've developed an easy step-by-step system that's repeatable. That's scalable is the big word that likes to be used about growing and developing larger than yourself, of scaling. And in order to scale, to do this at a bigger level, you've got to leverage all of these things. You've got to leverage your time, leverage your money, leverage your people, leverage your relationships, leverage your credit to maybe get more money potentially to pull this off. Leverage training so you can figure out how to do all of this. You could leverage these resources. That's what you're doing when you're using your money, when you're leveraging your money, when you're using your money to advertise, so that way you don't have to door knock, so that way you don't have to have all the face-to-face just to generate the leads in the first place. You're not only leveraging the money, but you're leveraging whatever platform you're using to advertise on. Maybe that's Zillow. You're leveraging the largest real estate platform in the world. Yeah, Zillow, no one beats it out. They've got more users and so on and so forth. So you could complain about it, you could try to pick a fight with them, or you could leverage their system to be able to grow your business. You could leverage your own website. You could leverage Facebook's advertising platform. You could leverage Google's advertising platform with immense levels of resources here. You could leverage some third-party company to manage your entire ad campaign for you and all of your ad spend, so you don't have to have the training, so you don't have to spend the time. You just give them more money. You're leveraging your money, and it's going to be more money for this out-of-the-box, all-done-for-you system than if you advertise directly yourself. But again, it depends on, where's your business at, and where are you trying to take it? Where are you at now for time, for money, for training, for reputation, for the people that you have, and where are you trying to take it? Because depending on the answers to those two questions will, number one, say what you've got to do, and number two, what you need to get there. So what you've got to do, and then what it is that you need. Do you need training? Do you need time? Do you need money? Do you need people? And these are some of the main things. For most things you could leverage, it's going to be one of these things, either money, time, people, training, a reputation, credit. There's maybe some other things it is you could leverage as well. My dog walker was just asking us, is like, hey, can you do me a favor? I'll trade you some free walks for your dog if you do me this favor. So again, there's opportunities for leverage everywhere. And you might have something that's valuable, and you might be able to use that thing that's valuable to gain something else. And that we call it leverage. And the more you understand this, the more you think about this, the more you'll start to realize the ways you could leverage something to get something even more, to get something better, to get something greater, and then be able to repeat that process again and again and again and again and again until you're able to accomplish whatever mission or goals or objectives that you've set out to dominate, to achieve. So look, that's all the time I've got for you guys today. So thank you for tuning in. Really appreciate you guys watching. Hit the like button if you'd like today's episode. That one's for us, but for you, hit the bell icon so that way you get notifications whenever we go live. So that way, whenever we have information that we're delivering to you, you get a notification so you don't miss out on it, because we drop videos every single day with juicy knowledge. Good old-fashioned, grade A, pure knowledge at no charge that we're putting this out there. So don't miss out on that. Hit that bell icon so you're subscribed, so that way you get the notifications and you don't miss out on any of this information to be able to grow your business and achieve that greater life goal that you're trying to achieve. So thank you guys for tuning in. If you've got questions about obtaining your license, if you've got your license and you feel a little lost, come take post-licensing. That will definitely help clear things up. Our post-licensing program, it's got a large component of it to business planning, then understanding the market, and really more real-world knowledge that's going to help you do business faster. Again, using training to take time out of the equation. So maybe you've got to take that post-licensing. Call us up. We've got classes coming up in 2020. We've got a great online program, 813-333-2676. That's the number, 813-333-2676. Thank you guys for tuning in, and I'll see you on Friday for State of Real Estate. Hey, so if you're thinking about starting a real estate career, it could feel a little overwhelming sometimes. Look, that's completely understandable. That's why we're here to help. If you haven't already, check out our Success Center, tampaschool.com/success, or if you don't even know where to begin, give us a call. We'd love to help you out. We've got advisors standing by to answer any questions you have and assist you in any way it is that we can. Our phone number is 813-928-0106. Again, that's 813-928-0106. Give us a call. We're the Tampa School of Real Estate.
Do you want a career that allows you to be in control? With a career in real estate, you'll get to call the shots. Whether you're looking at starting part-time or want to become the next top agent, a career in real estate makes it possible. Find out what it takes at tampaschool.com. Do you want to incorporate studying for your real estate exams into your busy schedule? Now you can review the key topics you need to know to pass your class and state exams with our MP3 audio review. Simply pop in your headphones or connect to your car to reinforce crucial information while you exercise or drive. Listen to the first unit for free at mp3audioreview.com. That's mp3audioreview.com.
Are you thinking about a career in real estate? Hey, I'm John Christma with the Tampa School of Real Estate, and we've helped thousands of people just like you obtain their real estate license. If you're thinking about a career in real estate, give us a call. The phone number is 813-928-0106. Our advisors are standing by to answer any questions you have and assist you in any way they can. Hey, if you're enjoying the show today, which I'm sure you are, be sure to hit like, subscribe, post your comments, share with your friends and family. Thank you guys so much for watching.